can see myself in darkness.
If you find your campaign is in need of a dash of romantic high fantasy, a whimsical diversion after an epic adventure, or maybe you just need a convenient way to rescue your imperiled players, then look no further than the goodly folk known as Azatas. Let's start off with the basics. What is an Azata? Azata are chaotic good outsiders from the Plane of Elysium. They are immune to electricity and petrification. They have resistance 10 to fire and cold. They are constantly under the effects of true speech, so they can yak it up with just about anything. Now, players interested in summoning these elegant celestials should use a summoning circle of cold iron. And from a DM perspective, I find them to be useful for helping or rewarding players. Alright, now let's dig into some of the specific types of Azata that players are likely to run across. Starting with the smallest, the Lyrakien. This tiny woman has a lithe form with delicate butterfly wings. She is surrounded by sparkling lights and gentle rainbow arcs. Intimidating, she is not. Lyrakien have some limited but useful spell-like abilities, including Cure Light Wounds, which they can use once per day, and Commune, which they can use once per week. This will give you 6 questions, by the way. One of their few offensive abilities is an attack called Sunlight Burst. This can be helpful as it does holy damage. Now, as a DM, Lyrakien can be useful for helping out lost players who are in search of hidden locations. They might also know the location of things like lost magic items. It's also important to know that chaotic good spellcasters can gain a Lyrakien as a familiar. The preferred offering when summoning a Lyrakien is an original song performed during the summoning. The next Azata I'm going to cover is the Yamah. They are much like Lyrakien, but they're much bigger at medium category. This blue-skinned celestial has enormous butterfly wings, and its black hair sparkles like the starlit sky. Yamah have a cool ability called Steal Magic. This allows them to absorb a magical effect and use it to create a ranged touch attack that deals force damage. Any thrown weapon they wield gains the returning quality. They have a small set of spell-like abilities, including Cure Moderate Wounds, Invisibility, and Charm Person. Yamah fly quite fast at 100 feet per round. They dislike evil spellcasters, especially necromancers, and might assist good aligned spellcasters against otherworldly enemies. Think outsiders and planar stuff. The preferred offering when summoning a Yamah are magic scrolls, adding up to 5th caster level communally. These should be donated to a worthy cause of some kind. Probably a cause that the Yamah would find worthy rather than the summoner. Let's move on to one of the stronger combatants among the Azata, the Bralani. Silver white hair, the color of lightning strikes, whip about this poised, elf-like archer. His eyes sparkle with vibrant color. Like our previous entry, the Bralani have a fly speed of 100 feet and a land speed of 40 feet, so they are very quick. They're also decent at melee and ranged combat and have offensive spell-like abilities, including Lightning Bolt at caster level 6, so that's 6d6, and they can do that twice per day. They have an ability called Wind Form, which works like Wind Walk. Also, when in Wind Form, they can make slam attacks and use spell-like abilities. From time to time, they will act as go-betweens for humans and fae or elementals. The preferred offering for a Bralani are 4 flasks or vessels made of a material like gold worth at least 25 gold each. The flasks should contain some version of air, earth, water, and fire. Moving on to the most iconic Azata, the Lillend. This creature has the body of a beautiful winged elven woman from the waist up, and that of a snake from the waist down. Lillend are interesting because they have bardic performance. They can sustain their performance for a whopping 20 rounds per day, and it functions as a 7th level bard. They have the performances of Countersong, Fascinate, Inspire Courage, Inspire Competence, and Suggestion. An interesting aspect of Lillend is that they are guardians of specific works of art, places, or artists, and they'll enlist the help of allies to fight alongside them to protect places, people, and works of art. I find this to be a potentially really good adventuring hook for good aligned parties. And who knows, maybe not so good aligned parties will want to take part as well. For summoning a Lillend, the preferred offering is to promise to spend 1 hour singing or playing music for the Lillend, with some degree of skill. This can be promised either by the summoner or another willing individual. The final type of Azata I'm going to be covering are the mighty Ghaele. These are among the most powerful combatants among the Azata. This elegantly armored sentinel stands alert, his eyes radiating divine light, and his noble blade crackling with power. The gaze attack of a Ghaele can kill evilly aligned creatures with 5 HD or less. Their light form works like wind form. Their ray of light attack bypasses all DR. They have an impressive suite of spells and spell-like abilities. They are very powerful in martial combat, as they're armed with holy greatswords. An appropriate offering when summoning a Ghaele is a bound evil dragon, evil outsider, or undead of at least CR 12 for the Ghaele and the summoner to battle. This is potentially a really fun RP challenge, as well as a fight, before the Ghaele will agree to assist the players with something. Now I'm going to lay out a couple of ways you might consider using Azata in a campaign. Number one is the party rescue. Azata are very brave and noble and true defenders of the good and innocent, but they're also really whimsical and flighty and probably don't have very good memories. So basically, they're exactly the kind of thing which is going to heroically ride to the rescue of some imperiled adventurers and then not be there to do it again later. Like Spidey says, everybody gets one. On the flip side, you could just as easily use Azata to punish your players, especially if you've got one of those evil or neutral leaning on evil guys who's gonna run off and do his own bad thing to avoid the rest of the party. When he's off by himself is the perfect time to have an Azata strike and really mess up his plans. That's kind of their thing. Finally, I'm going to leave you with some inspiration and things to look at when thinking about Azata for your campaign. One thing that is definitely a clear aspect of the Azata is they have kind of an Arthurian knightly quality. So the code of chivalry would be really good to apply, especially to the Ghaele. I also find that they're kind of reminiscent of certain characters from Lord of the Rings, particularly the good aligned Valar, Maiar, and High Elves. Finally, you might want to take a look at the Light Elves from Norse mythology. I hope you've enjoyed the DM guide to Azata by D6Damage. Now, if you're interested in more character builds and class analysis, check us out right here on YouTube. Thank you for watching.